The weapon archive of the Galactic Military Academy held relics from 1,000 conquered worlds. Swords that could cleave through starship hulls, energy rifles that bent light itself, shields that had turned the tide of planetary sieges. But in the deepest vault, behind layers of containment fields and warning holograms, sat something that had humbled every warrior who dared approach it. The Beast Bow of Karnath. Cadet Lisa Chun had heard the stories during her first week at the Academy. Forged from the bone and sinew of the last void Leviathan, the bow was said to be alive, a predator trapped in weapon form. It had killed 3 Krillian berserkers who tried to string it. A Nexary champion had lost his arm to its bite. Even Master Instructor Gorvek, the legendary Vorthan weapons master, bore scars from his failed attempt to tame it. No one has drawn that bow in 4 centuries, her roommate Zara whispered as they descended into the archive's restricted levels. They keep it as a reminder that some weapons choose their wielders, not the other way around. The vault hummed with protective energy as the massive doors slid open. Inside, mounted on a pedestal of black stone, the beast bow waited. It was beautiful and terrible, organic curves that seemed to pulse with their own heartbeat, a string that shimmered like liquid starlight, and along its length, patterns that looked disturbingly like scales or breathing flesh. Around the pedestal, warning signs in 17 languages proclaimed the same message: approach at your own peril. This weapon lives. Instructor Gorvek, his left arm ending in a cybernetic replacement, gestured toward the bow with obvious unease. This is why we study xenoweaponry, cadets. Not every tool of war can be mastered through technique alone. Some require. He stopped mid-sentence as Lisa stepped forward. Cadet Chun, he barked, maintained safe distance. The containment field is the only thing preventing. But Lisa was already moving. She walked past the warning signs, through the containment field that parted like water before her, and approached the pedestal without hesitation. The other cadets gasped. Even Gorvek took an involuntary step backward. The bow sensed her presence. Its surface rippled, scales shifting to track her movement like a serpent's hide. The string vibrated with a low, predatory hum that made several cadets cover their ears. Warning alarms began to sound throughout the vault. Lisa reached for the bow's grip. "It will kill you," Gorvek shouted over the alarms. "No one can." His words died as Lisa's fingers closed around the weapon. The transformation was instantaneous. The bow's aggressive writhing ceased. Its surface shifted from the mottled black of a predator to the deep blue of Earth's night sky. The predatory hum became something almost like purring. Most shocking of all, the bow allowed itself to be lifted. Lisa hefted the weapon, testing its weight. It felt perfect in her hands, as if it had been crafted specifically for her grip, her draw length, her strength. She could feel its consciousness brushing against hers. Ancient, powerful, but no longer hostile. "Ow!" Gorvek breathed. Lisa examined the bow, running her fingers along its transformed surface. "It's not a weapon," she said quietly. "It's a companion, a hunting partner." She looked up at the stunned faces around her. "You've all been approaching it like conquerors, trying to dominate it. But this bow was made from a creature that ruled the void between stars. It doesn't want a master. It wants an equal, to demonstrate." She knocked an arrow that materialized from the bow's own energy. The draw was effortless, the strings singing with harmonious vibrations. She could feel the bow's eagerness, its joy at finally finding someone who understood its nature. "Impossible," whispered a Zilani weapons expert. "Humans are apex predators on their world, but they're hardly equal to a void Leviathan." Lisa smiled as she gently released the string, the energy arrow dissipating safely. The bow settled contentedly in her grip, scales shimmering with what could only be described as happiness. "That's where you're wrong," she said. "Humans aren't just apex predators. We're the species that turned every apex predator on our world into our companions. We didn't conquer the wolf. We made it our partner and called it dog. We didn't dominate the horse. We made it our friend." She held up the now peaceful beast bow. "This bow doesn't want to be tamed. It wants to be understood. And humans? We've been understanding predators since we first shared fire with wolves. The vault fell silent, except for the gentle humming of a weapon that had finally found its true partner.